Sorry. This is the regular town council meeting, Thursday, 28th, 2021, just after 7 p.m. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. So I am calling us to order, and now I'll take the roll call. Mr. Bill Smith?
Here.
Steve Holberg is out. Mary Hanson?
Present.
Okay. Bill Goldsmith?
Here.
Larry Tuning?
Here.
Marjorie Austin?
Here.
Mira's here. We also have our town attorney, Andrea Arard. We've got Garth Wheeler, our town administrator. We have Roy Kine, our zoning administrator, and Martha Rodenburg, our town clerk. So, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. We're going to delay starting with our regular meeting because we're going to start with a public hearing. And I'm going to ask Garth, you want to take that over right now?
Bill Smith.
Bill, would you like to lead it off? Make sure your mic is on.
I talk better on my feet. A few months ago, we were given an offer. Okay. Does that work? Okay. A few months ago, I met with John Mullins. He owns 2 pieces of property that aren't adjoining. Now we have where we have our well, current well, where we have minimal area of drilling a new well up there. Now we're going to utilize that area, but the area that he was concerned about and made us an offer of a 2-for-1 land exchange. Use the finger? Okay. The area is right here. It's down at the bottom of the hill. It can't be utilized for anything. Not a well, not anything. It's just bare land. So he asked to exchange this area here and give us a 2-for-1 here that we can drill a well on 8 years from now when we have to drill another well. Now to me it was a win-win because we can't do anything with this land, just leaving it vacant. Our new well is going to be right here, the one that's current, that we're working on now. 8 years from now, DEQ requires us to drill a new well to take the one that we are currently pumping up at the top of the hill. So it allows Mr. Mullins to connect his 2 pieces of land, does nothing to the town except give us another area to drill a well 8 years from now. Also in this is a utility easement that runs down through here to bring the water down in that 8 years. So right now what it is that we can't utilize that, but we sure can utilize that. And it's a 2-for-1 exchange and it's free land. 8 years from now, we will have to go looking for a piece of land in this area, and it would be a premium. We get this piece of land and it's free. And we'll be able to drill a new well there and bring it up the hill. The other well, this will be our primary, that'll be our secondary, and he'll be able to connect these 2 pieces of property. Say again? The marina?
Yeah, where's
The marina's way over here.
Okay, I'm not sure where that.
Okay, here's the right here, this is the water tank right here, if anybody knows, you know, up at the top of the hill. Okay? This is Laurel Hills Farm Road. And this piece of property right here, believe we're giving him, let me get this, I want to make sure I'm saying it straight. I went by square footage when I was working it out because it was a two for one swap. So it worked out where we're actually getting about 20 or 30 extra square feet of land than an actual 2 for 1. But we have to have constraints. We couldn't drill down here anyway because the constraints in the regulations state you have to be 50 feet from any property line. Okay, so that really limits where you can put, if you wanted to put anything down here. Up here, this area here is 50 feet from any other property line, and we can drill in this area right there and bring the water in. Now this is looking to the future of Urbanna, where the taxpayers won't have to buy a piece of land at a premium because we're stuck. That tank is going to stay there. So I thought this was a win-win. I've talked to the council about it, and they think it's a win-win. But that's the reason we're having this public hearing, to let the public know that we're basically looking to the future for Urbanna, where we're gonna have to have 2 wells, of production well and a backup well, and this gives us that. Anybody got any questions? The current well? Yeah. The current well, the one that is right in here.
That's being used now, and the red circle down below is what?
This is where our new well that we're going to be drilling here.
And that's for 2024?
Correct. Now, once this well goes online, the 2024 well, 8 years after it goes online, our current well now has to be abandoned. DEQ standards, because it's not up to the construction standards that DEQ has now, and we'll have to do another well over here to those standards, those construction standards. So this will have to be abandoned. This will be our production well. That'll be our backup well.
Bill, I'm asking this question because I know you've done it.
Into the microphone, please.
I came over.
I'm asking this question because I know you've done it, but I want to get it on record. You've had an engineer or a DQ or whoever's responsible to look at that piece of land we get from Mullins and we can put a well on it.
Yes. Yes.
Is that in writing? And I mean, so that we know that?
Well, he can tell me it's a good piece of land, but did he put it in writing? No, he did not.
Okay.
But I brought an engineer in from Kenley Horn, and we took Roy and I took him up to the top of the hill, showed him the piece of land that we were thinking about, and he was the one that said, make it a little bit bigger. So you can pick, you have more than just a spot right there. You've got 20 feet by 20 feet that you can put it in anywhere around. Now we go to the Potomac Aquifer, and everybody knows that that's everywhere under here. So we're going to hit water. It's just, where are we going to hit water at? You know, where are we going to put the well at? So that's the reason that we've done what we've done, and I just want to make everyone understand. I'm sorry.
Duck in here. Please put your phones on stun.
So we did bring an engineer in. We went up there, we talked to him about it, we showed him where we wanted to be. He asked us to make it a little bit bigger so we would get within those regulations of 50 feet from any other property line. This has also been designated as not ever to be subdivided. It is for future site of the town of Urbanna well only. No residential development shall occur on that parcel. So once we have this, that is for our well. We can't do anything else with it but put a well there.
Thank you, Bill. Any comments or questions?
Can you hear me? This is Andy on the Zoom.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, how are you today?
All right.
To be fair in the discussion, what does Mr. Mullins gain out of this? Why is he interested in the alternate lease of properties?
He wants to connect his properties. Right now, he's not connected. And it's a 75-foot by 110-foot piece that we're exchanging, so he can connect those two. And maybe for future development, I'm not sure. I didn't dig into that. You know, if
Yeah,
he,
I just had to ask. I mean, there's give and gain on that both sides. So,
right, right. And obviously, if anybody that knows John Mullins, he's a straight shooter, and he is for the town of Urbana. Anything
I
that's
fully agree. I just thought that I needed to ask a question to have a balanced discussion.
okay. All right, no problem.
I fully agree.
Thank you for your input.
So if there's no other input, you can close the public hearing.
All right, then. I now declare the public hearing closed. Thank you, Bill. Okay, now we will move on to the minutes for October 14th, 2021. Yes, sir.
We need to make an amendment to the, yeah.
Is that not
We
going to be
need to
a
make,
new business?
we need to make an amendment to our current agenda and
Okay.
place item under new business, resolution to approve signature authority for financial assistance for public well replacement.
Okay,
And we will be reading the resolution in that manner.
all right, so do we need to make a motion to amend this?
You never form.
Council has not really voted to approve the agenda, so you could just vote to approve it now with that amendment.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? No discussion? All right, we'll vote on it. Ms. Austin?
Yes.
Mr. Tuning?
Yes.
Dr. Goldsmith?
Yes.
Ms. Hanson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And Mayor votes yes. Thank you very much. Motion passes. The agenda is approved to include the amendment. All right, now, can we get on to the minutes?
I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Do we have any discussion?
Yes, I have a motion to amend the minutes to add the following. A discussion took place regarding following standard agenda templates. After review of the original drafts, Councilmember Holberg recommended editing the work session template to add public comment and remove reports. This was requested by Mr. Holberg, who cannot be with us this evening.
And the reports are being removed from the regular meeting or from the work sessions?
Work session.
Work session template.
Yeah, we already did that.
Editing
Work
the work session template to add public comment and remove reports.
Didn't we do that last week though? I mean, didn't we?
This is just an amendment to the minutes. It's his correction to the
I
minutes.
thought we already took care of it.
Because we did talk about that, but it's apparently not in the minutes the way he felt it needed to be in
Okay.
the minutes.
Okay, any further discussion?
Just a question.
Yeah.
Shouldn't the work session be the one where the reports are given and the regular meeting? And shouldn't it be the other way around?
Mm-mm.
Because that's where we discuss a lot of work of what we've done. You see what I'm talking, you see where I'm going with that?
Well, here's the problem that we discussed at the last meeting, that we were getting redundant reports at the work session and the general meeting. So I think the idea was that if we had gotten the reports at the, go ahead, Garth, you can explain it.
This is a point of clarification that Steve asked to be placed in the minutes because he felt it wasn't clear as to what had happened. So he asked for this clarification in the minutes, and we don't have any problem with that.
We don't have a problem with it, I'm just thing, and where are we gonna discuss it? In work sessions, we can discuss things, you know, and a report, Steve always has questions for me. So now we're in a regular meeting, and, you know, there's really no room for those discussions, but we have to stick to the agenda.
Well, I think it might be that we can have an informal report as opposed to a formal report. Go ahead, Mary.
I'm wondering if our town attorney might have input on what is standard procedure.
So, we have a motion and an amended motion,
And we need to.
no second. It's supposed to be about the minutes, but I think your comment, Mr. Smith, is about the substance of what is discussed when.
Right.
So if you could maybe hold that until we are done with the minutes, unless you object to the accuracy of the proposed amendment.
If we vote on it, then we're stuck with it,
No, this is just the.
This is just the
It's
minutes.
the minutes.
the minutes, okay.
It's just,
Yeah.
were they reported
All right.
properly?
Duly, I'll hold,
Pardon?
I'll hold.
Okay.
I don't object to anything.
All
So
right.
we need a
We
second.
need a second for the amendment to the minutes.
Can I have it read again, Jimmy? I'm
Sure.
confused as to what's going on.
May I make a,
Discussion took,
make a suggestion? Could you withdraw your motion?
I withdraw my motion.
Okay, and could you withdraw your amended motion?
okay, I hereby withdraw my amended motion.
Make a motion to approve the minutes with the following amendment.
Okay, I hereby make the motion to amend the minutes with the following comments. Discussion took place regarding following standard agenda templates. After review of the original drafts, Council Member Holberg recommended editing the work session template to add public comment and remove reports.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, we will vote on the motion. Ms. Austin,
Yes.
Mr. Juning, you're just voting to accept the minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Goldsmith,
Yes.
Ms. Hanson,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
and Mayor votes yes. Okay, minutes pass. Thank you very much. We are,
Understanding it is a different thing.
yes, okay, so we are now into reports. Do we have a treasurer's report?
No treasurer's report. It's the same as last time.
Thank you very much. Okay, do we have a finance committee report?
Finance Committee has been meeting to discuss some of the things associated with projects that we're going to discuss at the retreat. And there's no real news because we're basically looking at options for financing, interim financing for the well, financing for the pool, and all of it's in flux right now.
Thank you very much. Water committee,
Well, Bill just touched on it. We've been working with the USDA on funding. Applications have come across. I want to thank Roy for jumping on additional information USDA required from us. Right now, the professional engineering report is in review. It is almost complete and being approved by the USDA. One of the resolutions that we amended the agenda to is for the signatories for that interim, or not the interim, but the USDA loan. Today we had discussions with Bowman, and there seems to be American Rescue Act funds out there that I'm going to try to chase down. I've been in touch with DEQ, doing a runaround and getting them confused and myself confused at the same time. Other than that, I think everything I said in my report is there, but it's been a busy week, busy couple weeks.
very good. Thank you very much, and thank you for not confusing us as well as everyone else.
I left all the acronyms out.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a planning commission report?
We do have It's okay.
I'm sorry,
But
it just occurred to me, because I didn't write any of this down. And DHCD, Department of Housing and Community Development.
Had to get it in there.
We had to. We got approved for the planning survey grant that we asked for. Now we're in discussions to find out what's our next step. Are we eligible or are we not? Because there's no information other than say we got approved.
And what does that cover?
Well, that covers the survey that we sent out earlier this year. That's what that covers. Okay, so we got approved for that.
Oh,
Now,
good.
whether we're eligible for the PER grant and the construction ready grant is still up in the air because they didn't say anything on their website. So we're checking into that now to find out where we stand.
Okay, we look forward to clarification at the next meeting. Thanks. If you have it, yes.
Wouldn't it?
Okay. Ms.
Okay,
Hanson.
Planning Commission met on Tuesday, a week ago. That would be October 12th. And we discussed status of where various things were that we've talked about. Priorities, wanting to get taxpayers some services such as access to the waterfront, things that we've been talking about before. What has become bigger is our awareness of all kinds of projects that perhaps have higher priority than some of the projects that we want. And I am in the process of trying to understand how funding streams are, what pools of money are already obligated for what kinds of things that it's not readily apparent when you read the budget, so that we can really think through timing of some of these things. As a planning commission, we discussed the way ahead for the planning commission and how to operate in a way that provides value for the citizens of Urbanna. And so we've come up with kind of a three-tier approach to goals for all of our meetings. First tier is being able to identify low-hanging fruit, something that would be easy to do, that will cost little or no money to make happen, that will be meaningful to people. Second tier is really looking at economic development, because that is becoming a really important issue for us, is looking at economic development. We have vacant buildings. I mean, we don't have to tell anybody that, and we're going to have more vacant buildings. So economic development is the second key area that I think we decided that we want to really focus on. And then the third one is the need to update the comprehensive plan. And we've learned a lot about the comprehensive plan, not the specifics of it, but that it had been paid to be updated a number of years ago. And yet I don't think we actually have that update as I understand it. I know that on the retreat agenda, the understanding the comprehensive plan, where we are with the comprehensive plan, all of that is part of what we have on the agenda. Roy has agreed for the next Planning Commission meeting to come and walk us through the parts of the comprehensive plan that aren't just the kind of the regulatory parts that are in all comprehensive plans. What are the parts that we need to be thinking about as a planning commission, as a town council, as a town? So we're just at the beginning of looking at that, and that's a really important thing. I mean, that's everything from economic development to tourism to what do we want, where do we want parking in 10 years? You know, where there's really a lot to it. So we've got those kind of three tiers. Something easy, let's do it really soon. Something to accelerate economic development, and we've got to start working on an update of the comprehensive plan. So that's most of what we talked about. Now, the one item that the Planning Commission wanted me to bring to council today, and again, this goes in the category of constantly reinventing the wheel, was the idea of putting a four-way stop. Guess where? Crossin', Virginia. And it's like, yeah, let's put a four-way stop there. Everybody's in favor of a four-way stop at Crossin', Virginia. Sounds great. Wouldn't take much to do it. And then, of course, I discovered that previous town councils had passed motions for a four-way stop at that same location. So what I'm trying to do now, actually Hank Dutton is chasing it down for us, and trying to, and we'll bring it back, I think, to the next Planning Commission meeting, is he's trying to connect with VDOT and say, because we realize that VDOT actually has to approve it, okay? And that is apparently where it's got installed before. So Hank is going to try to run that to ground. What would we need to do in order to get a four-way stop approved there? So stay tuned. That's our first item. I've got another hopefully low-hanging fruit item that some others in town are doing research on to bring up with the Planning Commission next time. Also, there were questions about the composition of the Planning Commission and how did these people get on the Planning Commission? Well, I tried to do some research on that. And what I discovered, based on our records, was that everyone's terms had expired, except for Alana Courtney. Now, there was an oversight. Carol Williams was also, she still has an unexpired term. I need to get in touch with Carol and ask her if she would please come join us. We can use all the help that we can get. Again, this is something that was not by design of any sort. I don't know why we didn't know that she had an unexpired term. I don't know. I don't know the answers to these things. I just want to make it right. So that is what I learned. What I learned on that. So I think that is. Oh, the other thing is there were questions about. Why don't people know when the Planning Commission meets? Well, guess what? It's on the town website. And we've met at that time. One thing that we can do better is if we meet virtually, we can also put that on the town website so that people have the link. We've never excluded anyone from any of our meetings. If we had visitors who wanted to attend the meetings, we would move to a bigger room. We'd move up here and we'd welcome citizens who wanted to attend. So I think that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. So it sounds like you are dealing with short-term, midterm,
Right.
and long-range
Right.
plans.
Right.
Okay, thank you very much. Takes care of Planning Commission, and it is now, do we have a sign-up sheet for public comment? I will open public comment now. I know that we have someone here to speak. At least one. Thank you.
I think we have one virtually also.
Well, we've got Amy. Did you want to come up? Just,
in conjunction with my husband as well. So
all right.
if you wanted to speak, so not sure where to stand.
Well, you need to stand up by the,
This is different.
okay. Amy, make sure you turn on your mic, please.
Thanks. Okay,
Thanks.
so
State your name and the address.
sure. Amy Anderson, 10 Urbanna Road, and Andy Anderson.
Thank you.
Andy, can you hear all right?
We can't hear him.
Andy, can you hear?
I'm sorry, I was on mute, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Andy Anderson, Urbanna Road.
Right. Do you want to start, Andy?
I would. Well, thank you for letting me do this via Zoom, and I hope that this goes better than last month. I appreciate your time. Amy and I would like to, we have a general question, no names or anything of that nature. Our concern is how does the town enforce permits that have already been issued? We have a long-standing issue that's gone on for longer than a year. I think in general terms, the issue that's been incomplete presents some safety issues regarding pool safety. It presents visual problems for the town when you come across the bridge. Clearly, the owners did not want to see their pool heating system. So why does the town and why do we have to look at that? So the permit, to satisfy the permit, would remedy all these issues. We clearly are not asking for anything above and beyond what was already approved. and recommended by other people. This is not our idea, that we think it's a good idea and we'd like to see it get implemented.
Okay.
I don't have anything to add to that at this moment. I think we just want to hear your feedback and have a discussion.
I don't think anybody here disagrees with what Andy is saying. We have had some issues as to how do we enforce things. And this is something that we do plan on discussing at our retreat, because this has been a burning issue that you're not the first person to bring it up, but you've certainly brought it up in the brightest way. So, Andrea, do you want to address that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I need to come up because of the microphone. I have talked, or I sent an email to Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, and hi. And okay, and I explained that that I'm in the process of trying to reach a resolution on this issue that will address their concerns, and so I am working on that. And I think that in terms of looking at enforcement generally, you know, the town needs to have a consistent and fair way of addressing complaints. And I believe that at this time, the town operates on a complaint basis, meaning that Mr. Kime doesn't ride around and look for things. People call up and they say, I have a complaint about this, and then he investigates it, and then appropriate action is taken. So this matter is being addressed, and as soon as I have details to provide, I promised Mr. and Mrs. Anderson that I would share those with them.
Thank you. I know that's a nebulous answer, and it doesn't,
rebuttal.
it doesn't really answer
Of course.
your question.
This is not intended as a discussion. This is citizens' time. So, I don't know, it's in the discretion of council.
So,
I'll let Amy continue.
I think you also wanted to say something, but for us, this is a safety issue regarding those children that are trespassing on our property. That to me is a bigger issue than all the other things, because it's lives at stake. I don't really care about a fence per se. I care about the life. I care about the fence, don't get me wrong. So, but I'm saying these are children found on our property in a very dangerous environment. They want to go down to the water. It's alluring. So, for me, safety is first. Of course, not seeing what's been joked about as their water treatment facility, that's not beautiful either. We're not asking for anything. I'm sorry?
That water treatment facility isn't on the permit either, and it's very close to the property line, and by code it has to be covered up. But that's not on the permit, which is a further endorsement why the fence is needed.
Correct. And so all of this not knowing and going to the next meeting and the next meeting and the next meeting, that's not helpful in terms of safety, in terms of eyesores, in terms of our property value. There's a lot of things at stake here, not to mention their 6 children are not the only children tempted. Other people could easily pass back and forth between the property, and it'd be dangerous. It's just not a good issue all around. And it's starting to be that when we're just walking down the street, somebody will just bring up this topic, and I don't really want to discuss it. It's not positive in terms of, there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions, and a lot of people don't like it either, but they're not here. But it's also not their property next door to theirs. So, yeah. So we just would like some type of resolution because of the safety factor as well.
Thank you, and we would like to get resolution so we don't run into this problem again in the future in a different case.
And I do have one comment. If you have people trespassing on your property, you need to send them a letter and explain that there is no trespassing on your property, and then if they trespass again, that's something that you would report to the authorities. We do not, the town will not address the trespassing.
I do not always know who has trespassed on our property since we have no home there, but we did not know these children were on it until we happened to be on the bridge and taking photos a different way.
I'm just trying to tell you how to handle that. Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. We've gone to the authorities, so.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sure.
Thank you for your input. All right. But- We're very,
Is your cable out?
okay. All right, well, since nobody else signed up, that closes public comment. Thank you very much. Okay, do we have any other response from council? Obviously, this is an issue that we are working to resolve, and it has been laborious, and it's taken a lot of time, and it's very frustrating for everybody.
Well, I just want to say, I understand the concept of needing the fence, but that doesn't prevent any child from going onto the property and down to the water, so that's not going to make it safe in that general area.
Well, what we have here is a permit.
I
That needs to be
understand that part. I'm
enforced.
just saying that's not going to
Yeah.
keep someone else from,
I'll
another child
just-
from going down
I'll just
there.
say this just to clarify a couple of things. The HARB, Historic and Architectural Review Board, did offer a certificate of appropriateness based on applications that were made about a year ago. Not all of those requirements have been fulfilled, and when we went to try to make certain that they were, certain officials from the county stepped in and tried to shortchange what we felt was our place to determine. Well, okay, the county has said that they do not need to have a fence around the pool because it's a covered pool. However, the reason for the fence that we argued for an hour and a half in the HARB meeting about was not as much for the protection to keep kids away from the pool as it was to be a visual screen, which is required by HARB. And that has not happened yet, and that's kind of the sticking point that we're working with right now. It looks like Garth wants to address this.
Thank you. Is this on? This is actually a county issue, and we have worked with the county, talked with the county, and it's a legal, illegal issue, not a right and wrong issue, and that's how they're looking at it. So we're still in the process of trying to work with them and work with the Andersons. We've asked them to come and sit down and have a meeting with us and talk to us so that we can try to work through this. So it's a work in progress. But wow. So, and you know, we don't want to give any impression that the county is doing anything that they shouldn't be doing. They're looking at their code and how it's written, and that's what they're going by. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying that's what it is.
May I say that one of the issues, when you're talking about what is the town of Urbanna going to do to enforce the permit, you have to have enforcement mechanisms in your permit code in order to apply them to a situation. And part of what we find is that many of our codes don't really have enforcement mechanisms in them. The town code does. So part of the problem is which code applies, are there enforcement mechanisms in it, and then how can you activate those enforcement mechanisms? Now, that's one of the things that code is supposed to be a living document, and perhaps that's something that needs to be updated in our code so that that's clearer in the future and you don't have to experience what you've been experiencing, wondering when is this going to get resolved. Thank you.
Can I say something else? I wanted to address Ms. Austin's concern.
I think we've finished, we've closed the comment period, so thank you. We're aware. Thank you very much.
She's not. That's why she was asking, what other children? Well, we only have 3 of
Well,
the other
no,
2.
I'm sorry. We're done with that. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. All right. That is closed. We'll move on to old business now. Do we have any old business? Looks like we've got the Urbanna Creek Water Trail. Is this working now or did it get blown out?
Mine's
Is it working now? Okay. All right. Who is reporting on the Urbanna Creek Water Trail? Larry, is that you?
I can do it.
Okay.
Dan Sneed, Roy, Garth, and I met. I don't think he's gonna come on. Dan Sneed, Garth, Roy, myself met last Friday, and we sort of laid out some guidelines as the direction that we're gonna go. We've got each one of us looking at different options, and we've determined that it's something we think we can do. It's one of those low-lying fruit that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And we think that cost-wise, it's something we can do. And we're moving ahead. We're supposed to meet this Friday, but something's come up and we can't do it, but we're moving ahead on it.
Yeah, lots of rain tomorrow.
Garth, you got something else you want to add to that?
No, not really. We're moving forward. We've got some ideas that we want to bring forward, but we're at the beginning stages and looking at where it was and where we are and where we're trying to go. And like Larry said, we've each got assignments to contact the Department of Conservation and Recreation, BMRC, and other state agencies, and we're looking for grant funding. And there is grant funding out there for this program. It's real big with DCR. So I'm really optimistic about this.
That's great.
Thank you. Good. Okay. That's everything on the agenda for old business. Now we move to new business. And it looks like we've got 2 items here. They're related. And first we have the resolution to approve exchange of land parcels between the town of Urbanna and Thurston Properties. Garth, are you going to address that?
You can just move approval as presented since you have the public hearing.
All right. Does someone want to make that motion?
No.
I move to accept the resolution as presented on the exchange of land parcels between the town of Urbanna and Thurston Properties.
Second.
Do we have any discussion? All right, let's take a vote. Ms. Austin?
Yes.
Mr. Tuning?
Yes.
Dr. Goldsmith?
Yes.
Ms. Hanson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And Mayor votes yes. Resolution passes. Now, B, is that,
The well.
This is the USDA.
USDA? Okay.
Signatory resolution.
All right, who is,
We don't have it in that pack.
do you want me to read that?
Here.
I put copies on every
I'll go ahead and read it for you, okay? And this is a resolution of governing body of Town of Virginia. The governing body of the Town of Urbanna, consisting of 7 members in a duly called meeting held on the 28th day of October 2021, at which a quorum was present, resolved as follows. Be it hereby resolved that in order to facilitate obtaining financial assistance from the United States of America, United States Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, the government, in the development of replacement of public well to serve the community, the governing body does hereby adopt and abide by all covenants contained in these agreements. Documents and forms required by the government to be executed. Be it further resolved that the town administrator or town mayor of the town of Urbanna be authorized to execute on behalf of the town council the above referenced agreements, documents, and forms, and to execute such other documents, including but not limited to debt instruments, security instruments, and/or grant agreements as may be required in obtaining the said financial assistance. This resolution is hereby entered into the permanent minutes of the meetings of this council, town of Urbanna, by, and I will sign that, Mayor Barbara Hartley, and attest the town clerk will sign. Okay. Shall I read the certificate? Well, the certification will be done by the town clerk at the time of her signature.
I'll make a motion to,
To accept the resolution?
as presented, yes.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. Let's take a vote unless we have further discussion. All right, Ms. Austin.
Yes.
Mr. Tuning.
Yes.
Dr. Goldsmith.
Yes.
Ms. Hanson.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
And Mayor votes yes. Motion passes. All right. Look at this. We might get out of here before next year. Okay. We have announcements. Go ahead.
Just a couple quick announcements. I just want to let everybody know that we're still working on the pool project. Mr. Stanley of Douglas Aquatics reached out to me, and the holdup has been being able to get pricing on concrete and other things that is necessary for the construction of the pool, and he's still trying to put that together. So we're still moving forward with that. And the other big announcement is our cross street light poles are supposed to be delivered next week.
No.
Just in time for Oyster Fest.
Woohoo! Yay!
Man.
Delivered and installed? We'll see. Okay. Wait a minute. We're not going to adjourn. We are. Thank you very much. Rather than adjourn, we shall recess until 9 a.m. at the Marriott in Williamsburg on Saturday. All right? Second?
Second.
All right, shall we vote? Marjorie? Larry?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes, but you're in the middle of my football season.
I'm so sorry. Mayor votes yes. Motion passes. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming.
Some kind of recording. Probably not. He might be interested, but he wouldn't be.